Jesus said, "This is the first and greatest commandment. Love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And the second is like it. Love others as you love yourself." So the question is, do you love? I mean, do you really live the definition of love? Are you patient? Are you kind? Do you celebrate in the blessings of others? Are you humble? Have you died to self? Are you slow to anger? Do you keep no record of wrongs? Do you always protect, always trust, always hope, always persevere? This is what it means to love, the way God intended. So the question remains, do you love?
Position yourself to receive from God with Bishop David G. Evans teaching When Men Pray.
Have there been times when you have asked someone to pray for you and the prayer has not been answered? Because instead of praying for yourself, you waited until someone else that you thought had more power would pray for you. Prayer is something that you resort to immediately and not as a last resort. You need to learn how to pray preemptively. You need how to pray ahead of time. Don't always be praying in response. Pray proactively. Pray before it happens. Lord, cover my child. Lord, bless my day.
Develop your relationship with God with this dynamic teaching on CD or DVD when you write to us. Visit our website or call 1-800-591-8480.
At Bethany Church, we're excited to announce the launch of our new website, designed with you in mind. We understand that tithing and managing your giving can be a hassle, but our new website makes it easier than ever. Our website is mobile-friendly, making it easy for you to give on the go or during service, whether you are using your computer or mobile phone. Our website is fully responsive, ensuring a seamless user experience. You can easily give your tithes and offerings with just a few clicks, either as a one-time donation or set up a recurring donation. Recurring donations make it convenient for you to give regularly, so you never have to worry about forgetting. Make sure to include your envelope number when using the Givelify app. Our website offers added security with a login feature, ensuring that your information is kept confidential. You can access your giving history at any time and keep track of your contributions throughout the year, or utilize our convenient text-to-give options to text your tithes on the go. At Bethany Church, we believe that giving is an act of worship, and our new website makes it more accessible than ever before. Visit gotobethany.com today and discover the power of giving with our new giving website. Thank you for your generosity.
Allow God's living waters to wash over you and refresh your soul.
You've been praying for yourself when the answer is in praying for other people. While I'm praying for California, God shows up in my house.
As kingdom people, with the king in us and us being sovereign ground, we're not governed by the laws of this land, but we're governed by the laws of heaven.
He's talking about you going to draw water from the wells of salvation. Where's the well? In you.
If we want to release the water, watch this, we don't have to pray for it to come. Where we are now, we pray for it to be released.
Release deliverance and transformation in every area of your life through God's living waters. This revitalizing 3-message series can be yours on CD or DVD when you visit our website or call 1-800-591-8480 today.
Isn't it time to stop reliving your past hurts and move on to a bright and hopeful future?
I have a right to be upset, but I don't have a right to be wounded for the rest of my life. So I choose to be healed.
Get rid of the bitter poison that unforgiveness administers to the soul with Bishop David G. Evans. Forgive again, live again.
It's a liberating experience, and being able to forgive someone and forgiving yourself. It's liberating.
Forgiveness will deliver me in 3 dimensions. From what happened, from who it happened with, from when it happened. Because sometimes you'll get free from the what, but the who will still have you bound.
This highly sought-after 4-part message of healing can be yours on CD or DVD. Act now, and we'll include Bishop's book, Healed Without Scars, with your order absolutely free. All yours when you visit our website or call 1-800-591-8480 today.
Praise the Lord, everybody. Welcome to On Point. We are the #1 Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America, live every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on any smart device at David G. Evans, the #1. We invite you not only to join us, but we thank you that you're with us today, but we also want you to like and subscribe to us. And do us a favor, share with all of your followers and friends on whatever media you're watching us on, whatever site you communicate with, and let them know that On Point is on once again. What we talk about is, of course, faith, culture, religion, sports, politics, any major event that has an impact on your life, but we try to give you the biblical perspective concerning these issues, these everyday issues, what the politicians call these breakfast table issues, the things we talk about among ourselves, with our families, with our friends, the concerns that you may have, but always trying to give you what the Bible calls that Issacharian look, perspective on things, understanding the times that we live in, and knowing what to do, how to apply your faith and the Word of God to whatever situation we face now, locally, regionally, nationally, internationally, those things that impact your life. And it's funny, it's like whether you believe in spiritual warfare or not, you're involved in it. Whether you want to accept that something that's happening 10,000 miles away may impact your life, that ripple effect is absolutely a real thing. Conflict and peace and those things are not just local principles, they're international principles. Unrest. We want to make sure that you are informed and know exactly how to respond from a Christian point of view, from a kingdom point of view, how to respond with your faith. So we'd love for you to join us today. You can give us a call toll-free from anywhere in the world, 866-743-8267. That's 866-743-8267. That's 866-74-EVANS. You can give us a call and join us. And what we always have is a stimulating conversation, one that informs, one that educates. We hope to add to your wisdom, your daily wisdom in life, and better prepare you for what you're facing and what is obviously coming all of our ways. Joining us once again is my world-famous co-host, Reverend Nicholas A. Smith. What's happening, man?
Good morning, everybody.
So I guess you're going to watch the game tonight, right?
Oh, until I fall asleep. It starts at 10 o'clock.
Oh, it starts that late?
It's a 10 p.m. game.
Well,
I'll stay up as long.
I probably will see about 15 minutes of that. Because I don't think I've made it through a halftime in years.
Yeah. So I figure midnight, 12:31, But I mean, if they start beating the brakes off them early.
And it's a Saturday night too,
cool.
We do have to work in the morning. I think the one thing about Sundays now with the virtual service at 8, and we know eventually that's going to have to go to a live service, but is that I don't feel as pressed as I used to on Sunday morning.
Jesus, thank you.
Yeah.
Taking your time
get that walk in, man, and just kind of move slowly, but then some days you just lose track of time and mess around. Oh, where did time go?
It's 10 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. And run on in. Lot going on. Give us a call, 866, hey James, 743-8267. So, it appears as though that this judge in D.C. is the wrong one to play with. She's talking about that the former president is making the kind of remarks that could prejudice a jury, that are endangering people that are witnesses and folk that will testify. It just, but I think his lawyers may be a little unsettled because they're not sure that they can keep him from, making the situation worse, incriminating himself. It might be a little strange, but I think that the Republicans in this case would not want to bring too much attention to Biden's son and almost force the Democrats to talk about his daughter, the former president's daughter and son-in-law's deal with the Saudis and with China.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not supposed to make any money leveraging your position while you're in politics. But $2 billion is kind of hard to ignore.
Yeah. But I don't see the Democrats going after that. They don't have this.
And I think the Republicans
they know that
the Democrats normally do not react this way. But the Democrats know that the Republicans are coming at them with hammer and tong any way they want to. So I find it a little punkish for them to not use the weapons in the arenas that they are in. And I don't, when we were growing up, I don't know what your mom told you, but my mom and my grandmom and my grandfather always told me, never start a fight.
Yep.
But you better finish it.
Yep.
You better, you better, and don't walk in here crying talking about I lost.
Right. Real quick, Crystal, people are saying the sound is low. They can't hear us online.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, but anyway.
Hopefully they can take care of that.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, but I think they're using what's the term? Red herring.
Yeah.
That,
well, they're trying to distract the narrative from what's happening right now, but it's not going to work.
Yeah, because they know their crew is going to harp on this.
Well, they have to.
Hunter Biden thing. He's not running for president.
Yeah, they're trying to distract folk, and I think that either you're going to hold the father, the parents responsible for the children's stuff, or you're not. But you can't say I'm going to hold President Biden responsible for what his kid did, but I'm not going to hold Ivanka and Jared responsible for what they did.
Right. And I mean, Hunter Biden got caught on a gun charge. I thought y'all was pro-gun and wanted everybody to have guns, and that's what I thought.
They're pulling anything.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's just let's reach for the straw and see if it works. But I think that if there was a false equivalency trying to be established, they're using a pretty weak equivalency as an example. Now, Jared and Ivanka have a tremendously large kind of whale, and they're going after this minnow. So it's just I mean, there's stuff there, man. Anyway, so I haven't asked you your opinion. This Tommy Tuberville guy. I get it that what we've watched in the last maybe 15 years, 20 years of national politics is egos out of control. No real concern for the impact that a decision or a point of view is going to take. But why is one man allowed to hold up the whole military?
So this is the crazy thing.
Okay.
So I think there's over 300 positions they need to fill.
336.
36, yeah. For those that don't know, they usually just bunch them up in groups, vote on a whole bunch of them at one time, let them through. But it has to be, again, stupid, by unanimous consent. That's how one person can hold it up. So what they want them to do, political theater here, is take 300 people individually vote. You know how long that would take?
Forever.
They're like, you guys can still do it. You just have to do it one by one. But 300 somebody.
You'd be 5, 6, 7 years getting them
Yeah.
promoted, and the key positions would not be filled.
Yeah, and I thought y'all were pro-military.
Well, I thought they were pro-military, pro-law and order.
Yeah.
I thought they were pro-life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this might sound a little controversial, but I think the whole gun thing is actually more pro-choice than it is pro-life.
Yep.
Okay.
And here's the crazy. I think it's the joint.
And I'm pro-gun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
I think one of the Joint Chiefs has to retire by law by the 30th of this month.
Okay.
Because of Tuberville, the guy that was going to replace him
Can't
take
get
the
promoted.
helm. So the guy that's the vice president is going to have to do his job and do the.
Yeah.
Now this is not a small time.
No. We're talking about
This-
world fields of responsibility.
Yeah.
Like the Europe guy and
Yes.
the Asian guy.
Yes.
And the South American guy.
Yeah.
And the United States guy.
Yeah. Because you worried about a poem, or
What?
or abortion, or
So now they can only read or recite what you think they ought to be reading and reciting while they're traveling in a tube around the world with each other.
Yep. So,
But
yeah.
they're banning books in some places.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can ban books in Florida, why can't I control what is read to you? So you got a creative guy. He's on the plane with you. You guys mind if I read this poem to you?
Yeah.
What do you think? Oh man, that's really good. This Tuberville guy, the football coach.
Yeah.
Only in America could you be a football coach and then be
Right.
a person that could stand in the way of the entire military.
And ignore the fact that the Star Spangled Banner started off as a poem. Dwight Eisenhower, who they love to talk about,
Yes.
was doing poetry in the military.
Yes.
So I'm like, I think what they're doing is we'll let this suffer as long as Biden's in in office. We're going to tank stuff.
Well, that's not
To-
a new Republican tact.
Yeah.
I remember when President Obama was in office the first time, and the leader of their party said, you know, we're gonna just fight everything. We're not gonna let anything pass, because if we don't let anything pass, the American people won't vote for him next time.
Yep.
He won the second term, and they tried it again.
Yep.
Which told me very blatantly, how can you say we're not going to pass anything? We're going to stop everything he tries to do for the benefit of the people.
Yep.
We're going to stop all those things that are going to benefit the folk.
Yep.
And still hold your seat, because you taught me people
Yep.
vote against their best
Own
interests.
interest all the time.
Amazing.
Yeah. I get he's aligning himself with Trump. And look, line who you want to align yourself with.
Yeah.
But again, to me, I'm speaking humanely here.
Okay.
The betterment of the country.
That no longer is the emphasis for some people.
Yeah.
It's obvious. It's obviously
Yeah.
not, because our former president would not have incited what some still insanely are causing a tour. People don't usually die on tours.
Yep.
People don't get injured on tours. You don't put bear spray in people's eyes on
Yeah.
tours. You don't crap on the floor and spread it on walls, which really tells me a lot about some of the people that were on the tour.
That's just nasty, though. Yeah.
What kind of depraved mind do you have to have to make a point by taking your feces, first crapping in a public place,
Right, yes.
and then second spreading it on the wall,
Yeah.
and you can see the handprints.
Yeah.
And then they probably went around shaking their, see what we did, shaking everybody's hand.
Yo,
866-743-8267, 866-743-8267. I think my focus on this is that we have a right to protest in this country.
Yep.
But I believe there's a way to do it.
Yeah.
You know,
There is.
if you're gonna indict or condemn a riot in an urban area, then you've got to be able to condemn a riot at the Capitol.
Yep.
I mean, plain and simple.
Yeah. And be honest that if that was Black Lives Matter, the military would have been there so fast.
Man, there would have been fatalities
all over the place.
among the protesters.
Yes.
You know, in great numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, give us a call, y'all. We'd love to talk to you this morning. So, IRS is going after some millionaires.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, you taught me this too. So you got guys that make a lot of money that pay almost the same taxes as people that make very little.
Mm-hmm.
So in their eyes, they pay almost no, or absolutely in some cases, no taxes.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels unfair to them to be asked to pay the appropriate portion of taxes that everybody else is paying.
Mm-hmm.
We already know trickle down doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Trickle down is I call it spit down. Yes. Some of it may hit you and it may not, but most of it doesn't. Mm-hmm. Or either crap down, it comes so slowly you can't notice.
Right. Yep.
You know, so it's
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why. On one hand, I understand why if they've been doing this all along.
Yep.
But the politicians had to create the loopholes
Mm-hmm.
for them to get the advantage, and at the same time decide that middle-income America and lower-income America should carry the weight of the revenue going into the entire country.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, the middle-class people and the lower-class people, income people, are paying the freight
Yes.
that the ultra-wealthy enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they weren't paying, they couldn't get the breaks.
Yes.
Who sat in Congress and Senate and decided this is how we're going to do this?
Congress, because it helps them.
Yeah.
It helps the people that's donating to them.
Yeah.
You know, us.
That's protecting their donations.
Protect our donations, yeah. Now, us, we get a tax bill, that thing hurts every...
Man.
You're right. But we ain't got the options of...
Don't talk about it.
You know, this year hurt my feelings.
Look.
But I had to write that check so quick.
My accountant tells me you're going to have to pay something.
Yes.
We're going to see if we can't get it down to what you're going to have to pay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Not how much am I going to get back.
Right. Yes.
You know, you got these builders and all,
mm-hmm.
they can actually move losses to another year.
Yes.
Which lowers their taxable income,
mm-hmm.
which gives them another break.
Yeah. Warren Buffett even said it. It's unfair that my secretary's tax rate
Mm-hmm.
is higher than mine.
That's crazy.
Remember when Romney was running, whatever he does with his business, I can't remember the name of the thing. He was paying only at the most 15% in taxes because he does that corporate thing and goes in and buys.
Most working people pay at least 30, 25.
Yep. And then that's 15 is the most. I'm sure after all the other stuff he does, it's way.
Because I was looking at, they have that Billionaires Row in New York, in Manhattan, where all those, buildings and apartments are like $150 million, and $85 million. A cheap one is like $90 million.
Yeah.
And they say with the deal that they make with the city, they end up paying something like $35,000 in real estate tax.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you buy the place for $90 million.
Yep.
And you pay $35,000. That's an expensive watch for those people.
Right, exactly. That's just another blip in the
Doc.
But I get
they've got a system. I don't want to say rigged.
No,
it is set
rigged.
up that way to benefit the very wealthy.
Yeah.
My problem is I don't mind the wealthy getting some but give the people that are working hard every day.
Yeah.
Some relief also.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I mean, again, Amazon.
Yep.
They hired IRS.
Yep.
Tax attorneys
Mm-hmm.
and lawyers to do their stuff, which is why Amazon and Bezos can virtually go through this thing paying very little.
Yeah.
Because they know all the laws, they know all the tricks, they know everything.
Mm-hmm.
But they can increase prices for us.
Absolutely.
While we're making him the richest man
in the world. But capitalism requires casualties.
Yep.
It requires them.
Yes.
You can't have capitalism without some level of discrimination.
Yep.
You cannot have it.
Yeah.
Economic discrimination.
Yep. So two things about that. It was the capital gains tax that Mitt Romney was paying.
Yeah. That's a wonderful thing.
That year. And the lie that everybody in America, based off what you said, let's keep this capital gain tax, these other taxes, because all of you can make it to this.
No. Not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
That's number one. Number two, an CEO of this big company basically said this week that we're going to have to go back to like a 30 to 40% unemployment rate to make employees feel grateful to have a job. He said they feel entitled. Because he's talking about since COVID, people were some corporations were treating their people like trash during COVID.
I do think there were some ridiculous things that happened.
Yes.
But I have an issue with the fact that they would rather pay unemployment than hire people. See, capital gains is not what most working people think about. The only gain that working people are thinking about is a pay raise.
Yep.
We're not sitting around, buying assets and need the capital gains rule to keep from paying the appropriate taxes on it.
Yes.
Most people don't know about tax-free shelters and things like that. That if you sell your house and you make money on it, you can put that money in a tax-free shelter and not have to worry tax-deferred thing and not have to worry about paying taxes on it. As long as you buy another piece of property that's $1 more than the one you sold. $1.
$1 more.
So you make $100,000 on the sale of a piece of property. And just buy another one for $1 more. You get to keep that whole $100,000. That ain't fair to you. It can experience it yourself.
Exactly. It's like we were talking before how some of these people, they buy these $100 million houses in cash. How they leverage their assets to get a loan, turn that loan, use that loan to buy the house, turn it into a mortgage. To pay that loan back. And that's how they buy it in cash. They don't have to pay no taxes.
Nothing.
Nope.
But most of us don't know about that.
Yeah.
And most of us can't take advantage of that.
Yes. And again, you're right. I'm okay with them having.
But what about the folk that work every day?
Yeah. Because his premise was that guy, and some of them feel like that. We're a benefit to y'all. But my thing is, Mr. CEO, you wouldn't have money if you didn't have employees.
Absolutely, but they don't see it. So basically, we are cogs in a wheel. Yeah. And you don't have to have compassion for a wheel. Yeah. You just have to replace it.
Yep.
That's why I believe that during a lot of small businesses went under during COVID, and people would ask the question, but what about small businesses? I said the problem is they treat them as like they're weeds. Yeah. You pull it up, another one's going to pop up. So they didn't show any major concern for that. They did make sure that the larger corporations got money that a few of them actually gave back because they knew it was inappropriate. The heat from public opinion was going to be too much for them.
Yep. Ruth Chris.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you happened to them.
Millions. Millions, man. So we got Robin from Delaware on the line. You can give us a call, 866-743-8267. That's 866-743-8267. 866-74-EVANS. We'd love to talk to you. Whatever's on your mind around our subject matter today, we're talking about several things. The suicide rate hit an all-time high last year. Are they trying to connect that to the anxiety of COVID, or what are they connecting?
I think that's COVID, lifestyle.
Okay.
The culture we live in, very tense. Something as small as there was something to your TV going off back in the day, like 7, 8 o'clock, and all you got was the squiggly lines.
Yeah.
You had to read a book. There was no cell phones.
Yeah.
I don't think our brains are wired to be this stimulated 24/7. This,
I agree.
you know, you're sitting in the bed, we're
I
watching
agree.
TV, or
I
you're on
agree.
your phone, and,
Yeah, I agree.
and then you wonder why.
My mom used to say it like this. I think I told you this story years and years ago. I was talking to my mom one day, and she, on the phone, and she asked me, what's all that noise in the background? And I said, well, I got the stereo on and the TV on. She said, why? She said, are you in the room where the stereo is? I said, no, I'm in here with the TV. And she said to me, the reason you're doing that? Because you don't have any peace. I said, what do you mean? She said, as soon as you come in the house, what do you do? I said, well, I turn on the TV, or I'll turn on the radio, but two things will be running at the same time.
Yeah.
She said, you won't have peace until you can walk into your own place, sit down, do nothing for a minute, read a book, maybe watch one thing or listen to the other thing. But all you've done is come in, and because you need some kind of stimulation and distraction in your own place. I'm like, yo. So I froze myself out of things, man. I'd come in, it would be hours before I turned something on, because I didn't realize I was taking my mind away from the life I was living into something that was going to entertain me for a couple hours.
And stillness is biblical.
Absolutely.
Rest and that
Absolutely.
centering, what we call centering yourself,
Absolutely.
is a biblical thing. But that, I also think, with the amount of technology, the lack of human connection. We're not created to be on a screen relationship. We're communal people, and the more we separate physically, it does something to your psyche if you're just...
They say the threat is only to kids, Pastor Neil.
The adults.
But I think adults are, I mean, there's people that sit near me in church. And half the service, you guys are giving us too much in these headphones. Now you took away everything. Okay, so we've got some kind of sound, some kind of air sound or something in it. I see people that sit around me that cannot stay off their phones during worship. I mean, and they say that the kids are hooked like that, but we've got adults who are now, especially the ones that are nosy, that now are afraid they're missing something. So they're spending inordinate amounts of time in their phone. The other thing that I think is really, really, really helping to hinder communication is this whole responding with either emojis or I like this or that kind of thing. Like that, it keeps you from doing anything. And I think that since we're having trouble communicating now, this has made it worse. Now I can say for myself, I don't spend a lot of time on these things. But what it has impacted is my memory. Almost debilitating us to where depending on the technology, which I'm sure they had a focus group. That predicted that would happen.
The easier to get, easier to do what you got to do.
Absolutely.
I'm old school. I still like having conversation. I prefer in-person conversation over on the phone conversation any day. Because to me, over the phone, you can't get the nuances of the person during the discussion.
You miss it.
So some hard conversations, I'm like, well, let's talk in person because I need to be able to, and connect with the person.
And also to see through the shades. You got to be able to discern, and it's a little more difficult to do that. You can do some of it on a Zoom call, but nothing is like that one-on-one in person. And I believe that communication was hurt significantly during the COVID period. And if people were already struggling with communication before COVID, I have noticed no one that I know that has gotten better since COVID. Everyone I know that struggles with communicating, communicating effectively before COVID, they have not improved since COVID.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Totally agree.
Well, we've got Robin from Bear. We've got Danny from Lauderhill, Florida. We've got Tom. I believe he's from Fort Lauderdale. Let's go to Robin. Good morning, Robin. How you doing? Hello, Robin. Let's hold Robin there. We'll go to Dan. Danny, are you there? Okay, y'all. We got flashing lights, but we can't talk to anyone. Let's keep going.
Okay.
See if we can't get that fixed. Okay. Why did I know we were going to have technical problems this morning?
Oh yeah, all the stuff. Yeah.
Why did I know it?
It either works or it doesn't work.
What? I mean, it's spooky. I'm getting dressed and I said, we're going to have an issue this morning.
Yeah.
Doggone it.
Be spooky, yeah.
Down to the phones. It's crazy. So anyway, so they caught the guy in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Now there's got to be a hard look at. I'm not just looking at the fact that he got out of Chester County Jail. I'm looking at the fact that the guy killed someone in South America, got to the United States, got here, killed somebody, and stayed free for almost 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Now, I get it. You have some very resourceful people that are born sometimes, and this guy is resourceful.
Yeah.
But I also don't understand how law enforcement allowed this convicted murderer to travel from one country to another, and then put him in jail, and he literally just walks out.
Yeah.
Because I'm not. After he did the Spider-Man thing, how did he get out of the building?
I don't know how he got exactly out of the building. You do see him drop over. Like he climbs up, and then you see him fall to the ground.
He drops over outside?
Outside. I think he's outside. You see him go to his feet and go
so
away.
he went through the ceiling.
Yeah. I think he said I think his mom said he grew up in the woods in Brazil.
That's why it was so good.
So he go to the bathroom. He learned to hide his tracks, hide all that.
Yeah.
I don't know how they found him in the John Deere thing, unless they had like surveillance.
The dog.
The dog caught him. Okay.
The dog got him.
Okay. It looked like they roughed him up a little bit.
The dog roughed him up.
Yeah, because he was bleeding from top.
Yeah, the dog bit him. The dog bit him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they basically shut down the area. So eventually,
I was talking to one of our pastors, and he said he was on his way to work. They said, "Oh no, Doc, you can't go this way," because they had everything shut down.
Yeah.
They knew they had him contained, but this guy obviously was an outdoorsman. I think the mistake he made was coming in out of the woods to sleep in the John Deere pile.
Yep.
But I guess he needed to be near something.
Yeah.
And the pile of wood could protect him.
They basically shut down the area. So eventually,
we're hearing ourselves now. Okay.
All right.
All right. So someone speak to us when we're ready to go to the phones. We appreciate you all's patience as you hold on. We'll get to you as soon as we can. But somebody let us know when we're able to talk to people. Something that's troubling me, and I know we've talked about it before. How did we get to this point where the loss of humanity is so acute that the generalization is, we know it's not specific to individuals, but the general perspective is that we no longer care about one another. Yet we call ourselves a Christian nation. But even in the body of Christ, I've noticed a little bit of a detachment from actually caring about people. Go ahead.
Two things.
Okay.
I know in a lot of our circles,
Yeah.
and I mean our circles like deliverance circles and stuff like the gospel's become so self-centered.
Yes.
Everything's about you and your breakthrough. You. It's not we. It's always just you personal.
Yeah.
I don't need nobody but me and Jesus. And we've detached. And another thing about evangelicals, they detach salvation from loving your neighbor.
Okay.
So when you only see salvation as a legal change of standing or just I'm saved from sin, you don't think about other people.
Then you need to stop talking about Jesus.
Right, because you can't separate love your neighbor from salvation and loving God. It's
almost like we've detached redemption from humanity.
Yep.
that our redemption does not promote the love that God has commanded us to express towards other people. It's amazing to me, the callousness that has occurred in our country, and the assertion from people that are supposed to be strong Christians that it's okay to hurt other people.
Yep. Yeah. And I think part of that is the world says no justice, no peace.
Right.
Scripture says that righteousness and peace kiss each other.
That's right.
Righteousness and justice are synonymous in Scripture. Every time you see them, you can't separate them.
But we do.
We do.
Yeah.
So if there's an injustice towards a person, that's unrighteousness.
Well, I think justice for a lot of people has shifted to the same lane as entitlement.
Yep.
I'm entitled to the justice that I've designed for myself. And it does not matter how the justice for me influences or impacts another person's life. It's almost like we're becoming inhumane.
Yeah. And John says that if I can't love you right, I don't have God.
That's right.
Which means if I live in hatred towards other people, I'm probably not saved, or something's wrong with my relationship with God.
1 John throws the gauntlet down, man.
Yeah.
And that feeling you have now didn't start with this individual you met.
Yep.
It's been there a long time ago. And you can't know him, God, and live in hate at the same time.
Can't.
But somehow we've reasoned ourselves into believing I can hate 4 or 5 people but still love the Lord. And the Bible's clear that can happen.
Can't happen.
So God expects his love to transform the way we love. But we want his love and want to exercise our own love in the world.
Yes. Can't do it. So phones are working now.
Oh,
Can we
good.
get to 'em? Yeah.
Let's go to Robin. Are you there? Hello, Robin.
I hear her talking to us.
I hear her talking to us. Robin.
We've reasoned ourselves into believing I can.
She's listening to what I'm saying.
Right.
But still love the Lord.
Robin.
The Bible's clear that can happen.
She's like,
Danny, how you doing? They're not there, y'all. Tom, how you doing? They're not there.
okay.
All right, so how do we recover the biblical mandate for caring for one another in ways that please God? Because there's a fundamental problem.
Yeah.
Sunday morning, 11 o'clock is still one of the most segregated hours in the nation as it relates to faith.
Yep. Yep. I think it's going. I'm glad that a lot of evangelical I'll say qualified American evangelical Christianity attempt to bring the gospel to a simple way to people to get them understanding.
Okay.
But I think sometimes in our simplicity, we've reduced it far beyond where God ever intended it in this sense. If you only see the fall of Adam and Eve affecting their relationship with God, that's all you'll talk about and care about.
That's true.
But when they fell, it affected their relationship with God, themselves, and each other.
And I mean, I think you do the same thing. When I'm doing counseling, I talk about that 3-way relationship.
Yeah.
God with Adam and Eve, Adam and Eve with each other, their relationship with him. And I'm not sure we're looking at our relationship with God to impact the way we treat one another. I mean, I see too many people around us that I think the next communion service, I'm going to do something to take a step to solve some of that.
Okay.
And that is that not only will we invite people to get rid of those loads, but invite people to do the biblical thing. And we haven't done this in maybe 25 years, like I think we did at the old church.
Old church, a long time ago, yeah.
Where we gave people the ability or the opportunity to get those old grudges off of them by going to each other. And because here's what I think. My dislike of you is not valuable enough to me to miss God.
Yep.
That's where I'm at with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's true. Because if sin affected those relationships, then salvation is supposed to affect
Absolutely.
those relationships.
It's the answer to it.
Salvation is not just hell avoidance and you going to heaven. Salvation is a lifestyle that God brings us into that affects the relationship with him, ourselves, each other.
But what we're going to run into with human beings is, I just can't do that. I just can't do that. Well, the Lord does not ask you to do something he has not equipped you to do. So if he tells you to love your enemy, and not just theoretically, but love your enemy, which means change the way you feel towards them. The offense doesn't go away, but you can't stay, not unless you like being angry. And I do know people that like being upset. They'll never admit it. But they're so good at being upset, they have to have an affinity for it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And, but it just, if salvation is God redeeming all of creation, everything in it that was affected by the fall, instead of just the only thing Jesus died for was for our sins, if he died for the whole thing to be redeemed, that includes everything. It's creation, us, each other. But again, I think it goes back to making it so individual centered. You said it on Wednesday, that even healing and all these things are corporate. That you can't get this stuff outside of.
No, we need each other
coming together.
Yeah, we need each other. There's the principle of unity, where God basically shows us the cooperative need of one saint with another saint. That we can't get these goals in the kingdom by ourselves. The kingdom is a relationship kingdom, but we still emotionally think I can detach myself from someone. Because I wonder how important these offenses would be, because that's where some of the loss of humanity has come. I got offended, so I pulled away. Okay, not realizing that that's the okey doke of the enemy, is to get you isolated. You know, which is why he went to Eve to talk to her. He didn't say, "Hey guys, why don't we have this conversation?" He isolates so he can influence. So he'll use, I think he used Eve's offense at thinking something was being hidden from her.
She felt too easy.
It was. It wasn't just that conversation.
And I think part of it too, people looking at the source of their offense and their hurt. Some people, their anger is just a manifestation of their hurt. They're trying to focus on the anger when the reality is you're just hurt. You deal with the pain of what happened. It'll start affecting the anger that you feel. Because one of the like grief, one of the stages of grief is anger. You're not really angry. You're angry because you're grieving. You know, but we're trying to fix the fruit and not.
The problem is we won't admit the source. Because as years pass, the source takes on less and less significance as compared to the cost that has been placed upon your life for holding on to the offense. So what does that mean? So something happened very real, very significant 25 years ago, 20 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 1 year ago. But the hindrance on your progress is so great that if you just take a look at it, that thing takes on less and less importance. You know, what is that we were saying for a while? It may not have been your responsibility, but it certainly is it may not have been your fault, but it certainly is your responsibility now for that thing, that offense, not to affect you and affect you going forward in the future. And think God's not watching and saying, okay, that person's too angry to handle what I have planned for them. So I've got to put them on delay after delay after delay.
And realizing, I think too, that some of these healing sometimes can be a process and an event.
It is.
That it's not that, you know, you're going to be fine one moment. There are days you'll be tested in that area. And you have to choose, as the Bible says, consider yourselves dead to that. I think we think that, we talked about some years ago, that forgiveness is like an antibiotic. Sometimes you got to keep taking it. You know, I remember when COVID first started. That summer, I was getting a bunch of upper respiratory infections, probably from being indoors so much.
Sure.
So I went to the doctor. They gave me antibiotics. She said, look, you're going to feel better in a few days. Keep taking the medication.
Absolutely.
My dumb self.
You stopped?
I started feeling better, and I was like, I'll take it later. I forgot.
Reason.
It came back with a vengeance.
Yes, sir.
And I had to go back. She's like, I told you. So I had to go back on another round.
Had to confess your faults.
Right. Had to do another round.
Yeah.
But what it showed me was, we think sometimes because I had a good 2 days,
I'm delivered.
Yeah.
No.
Then Thursday,
no,
a memory pops up. But you got to keep taking your medication.
But if you're used to being miserable, the reconnection with the feeling feels normal to you. It feels like, oh, that's, I've been mad so long. Yeah. And what happens is, people that are miserable today, the new events are not making them more miserable. Yeah. It's just feeding the misery that they fed forever.
Yes.
Because you got to talk to yourself a lot to stay miserable.
Yes. Yep.
And a lot of people are real good. They're not good at talking to people. Yep. But they are real good at talking to themselves.
Yep.
Because there's only one person that has to agree. And I've got an easy time agreeing with myself.
Yeah. But you got to be strong enough to know, okay, I'm thinking crazy right now.
Yeah,
all right.
You're asking a lot.
This makes no sense.
You're asking a lot.
And for those of you who don't feel that way, say what you're feeling out loud.
Oh.
And I guarantee you, once you say it out loud, you like, this is stupid for me to be bad at.
Only person that's going to make sense to them is them.
Yep.
I don't want to talk about it. Is that it's not going to make sense. I don't want to hear any other opinions about it. You don't want it disturbed. I say it like this. If you don't want to question, you don't want to ask a question, you are guarding your ignorance. Yeah. If you don't want another perspective on what you feel so strongly about, you are guarding your ignorance.
Yes.
Because the way that strong emotion that I have does not validate my point of view.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's easier to be stuck in your mind.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's easy to agree with me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask myself any questions. I'm going to confirm everything I'm feeling. Oh, yeah, I should feel that way. And I may go back 15 years to fuel something that's happening right now.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. But there are times where I'll feel something, I'll say it out loud, and I'm like, that makes no sense.
Absolutely. Only in your head.
Yeah. But train myself to say it out loud, because I'm like, I know if I say it out loud, it's going to be stupid.
But the other thing, I think, that if we're not reflective, if when a problem occurs, the only perspective I can see is my own, I'm at a disadvantage already. If all I want to hear is what I'm saying to myself, and other people have opinions about it, but you don't want to hear any of that, then that disturbance that's happening in us is not about now. It's a disturbance that has been going on for a long time, and now you found another reason to stay disturbed.
Yes. So true.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And we got to work on our healing. Every day make a choice to live delivered.
But for some of us, our healing is us feeling we're right.
Which is not.
I'm right, so I'm better. I'm right, so I'm validated. No.
Yeah. But the healing, the I'm right shouldn't make you more angry. If it's bringing up a negative feeling, that's your cue. That's not you being healed. That's just you. You dug in, entrenched.
But the negative feeling after you practice it for so long, Pastor Nick, is validating.
Yeah, that's true. I must be right, because
I feel strongly about this. I've had counselors tell me, how can it not be right if I feel so strongly about it?
Okay.
Well, because you're strongly wrong.
Right. That's delusion and deception.
Yeah, well, of course.
That has to be.
It is. But some people live that kind of self-deluded life.
Right.
Because the pain, the area of pain is so acute that anything approaches exposing it has to be rejected.
That's true. You're right. I know people that lie so well that when they tell you about what's going on, if you don't catch yourself, you'll start believing what they say because they're so convincing about it.
Well, because it's strongly from their perspective and experience. It's really about how they feel about themselves. So, and they're expressing themselves with this enthusiasm and passion. out of this thing, and because they feel so strongly about it, it's gotta be the truth.
Yes.
That nothing else could have happened. One of the things that I do consistently with life and with ministry and all, the first question I ask myself is not why did they do that?
Yep.
First question I ask myself is, did I contribute to this?
Yes.
Most people cannot have that conversation.
Nope.
And in counseling, I know you've seen it, and when you bring it up, there's an offense that because you're not in that bathwater with them.
Yes.
Because rejection, unfortunately, should be a scalding tub of water. But you can find people that will join you in it.
Yeah.
And be soothed by the fact that, they don't like me either, and
Yep.
it's just it's so debilitating, especially when the Lord has given us His Word and the power of His Spirit to transform those feelings.
Yeah. Yep. I was talking to somebody, and I'm like, okay, I get why you feel the way you feel, but this reaction does not measure up to what happened. But you feel like it does. So somebody stepped on your toe, and all of a sudden you want to shoot them. It's like the two don't match.
The reaction does not match the offense.
Yeah.
Because the offense has not begun with the present problem. The offense is historic.
Yes. You went all the way over there.
Fuel from 2 decades ago.
Yes.
Childhoods, high school, junior high school. Everybody thought I was ugly. Everybody didn't. I wasn't on the sports team. I mean, all that fuel coming from another place.
Yep.
So you exaggerate every offense now because of the number of offenses in the past.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, that was counseling.
Yeah, they're enjoying it though. But I mean, our freedom according to Jesus, we know people love quoting, "Whom the Son sets free is free indeed, makes free." The verse before that, Jesus says, "If you continue my word, you're my disciple indeed, and you will know the truth."
Yep.
He ties our freedom to our discipleship. It's a process,
yes, sir,
of continually, faithfully knowing Jesus. Again, not one-time event, but a process of healing, deliverance, transformation. Every day I'm getting better. Every day I'm becoming more free as I follow Him. And freedom means you're going to be tempted to go back. You just have to choose not to go back to those old hurts and offenses.
Because He's trying to get us to liberty, which is distinctly different from freedom. Freedom is you have the ability to do whatever you want to do. Liberty is you have the ability, but you choose not to do certain things. So Adam and Eve were exercising liberty until they decided to throw it away. I think it's we have to have a cooperative relationship with the Holy Spirit and a cooperative relationship with His Word, and realize that part of redemption is healing us of these internal dysfunctions. Well, we've had a great discussion today, Pastor Nick. We want to invite you to join us tomorrow at 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. And tomorrow we go on our first road trip in a long time. We're going to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, First Baptist Church. Pastor Paul Patrick is the leader there, and Sister Patrick. We will be leaving this area around 3 o'clock. If you want to follow us, go with us. We're going to the Second Baptist Church in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania tomorrow. Service begins promptly at 5. We won't have you there all night, so you won't have to worry about getting back. We want to invite you to join us tomorrow, though. We're excited about what God is doing. People are being saved, lives are being changed, people are being healed, set free, and delivered. We want you to be with us tomorrow at 11 a.m. live here in Lindenwold, New Jersey. I want to remind you about our midweek services. Our noonday service is tremendous. Our 7 o'clock service that evening is tremendous. You don't want to miss those midweek encounters, we call them. If you want some news updates, you want to text BBC News to 28950. If you want some spiritual encouragement during the week, text BBC Elevate to 28950. Of course, we love praying with you. You can send your prayer requests to social at gotobethany.com. And we want you to subscribe to David G. Evans 1 and BBC of NJ on YouTube. Also, you want to join us on our podcast, DGEMS, DGEMS, and the On Point, this broadcast platform, podcast platform. As always, for Pastor Nicholas Smith, I'm Bishop David G. Evans. Remember, faith acts like a thing is so, even when it's not so, that it might be so. God bless you, and see you next week on Point.